Welcome, guys. Hope this is trade. And sorry, just give me a minute. I've been doing a bit of exercise, so let me just drink some coffee. Yeah, basically, on today's video, I want to talk about just understand a bit more regarding this concept called feudalism. Yeah, so feudalism, also known as the feudal system, combination of legal, economic, blah blah blah, that flourished in medieval Europe from 1950 centuries. Broadly defined, it was a way of structuring society around relationships derived from the holding of land in exchange for service or labor. So you're given land. In exchange, you have to provide some sort of service or labor. Okay. So what do we have today? I mean, nowadays, if you buy a land, yeah, but you're not given the land. You do service, you add value somewhere else, you get money, you buy a land. I don't know. Okay, let's just keep reading. How is what we're doing today different than feudalism? Let's try to find out. The classic definition by François Louis Canshaw describes a set of reciprocal legal and military obligations of the warrior nobility and revolved around the key concepts of lords, vassals, and fiefs. Property. A broader definition, as described by Mark Bloch, includes not only the obligations of the warrior nobility, but the obligations of all three estates of the realm, the nobility, the clergy, and the peasantry, all of whom were bound to a system of manorialism that is sometimes referred to as feudal society. So what does it mean? It doesn't make any sense. What the fuck does it mean? Adjective was used by at least 1405. Blah blah blah. Okay, so this is a medieval castle, a traditional symbol of feudal society. I don't know what that means. Okay. Mm, okay, let's see this on vassalage. So before a lord could grant land, a fief, to someone, he had to make that person a vassal. This was done at a formal and symbolic ceremony called a commendation ceremony, which was composed of the two-part act of homage and oath of fealty. During homage, the lord and vassal entered into a contract in which the vassal promised to fight the lord at his command, whilst the lord agreed to protect the vassal from external forces. Okay? Fealty comes from the Latin fidelitas and denounces the fidelity owed by a vassal to his feudal lord. Okay. Once the commendation was complete, they were in agreement feudal relationship. The vassal's principal obligation was to provide aid or military service, using whatever equipment the vassal could obtain by virtue of the revenues from the fief, from the land. The vassal had to answer calls to military service by the lord. This secretive military help was the primary reason the lord entered into the feudal relationship. In addition, the vassal could have other obligations, blah, blah, blah. It Vassal providing counsel, okay, whatever. The feudal revolution in France. In its origin, the feudal grant of land. Blah, 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 blah. Let's keep going. The end of feudalism. Okay, let's look at that. Around this time, 1500s to 1850s, okay. Around this time, rich middle class commoners chafed at the authority and powers held by the feudal lords, overlords, and nobles, and preferred the idea of autocratic rule where a king and one royal court held almost all the power. Feudal nobles, and regardless of ethnicity, generally thought of themselves as arbiters of a politically free system. So this often puzzled them before the fall of most feudal laws. Most of the military aspects of feudalism effectively ended by about 1500. This is partly since the military shifted from the armies consisting of the nobility to professional fighters, thus reducing the nobility's claim on power, but also because the Black Death reduced the nobility's hold over the lower classes. Okay, so there was a nobility's vestiges of the feudal system hung on in France until the French Revolution of the 1790s. Even when the original feudal regime had disappeared, there were many industrial remnants of feudal left in place. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is important. So Karl Marx said that in pre-capitalist systems, it was obvious that most people did not control their own destiny. Under feudalism, for instance, serfs had to work their lords for their lords. Capitalism seems different because people are in theory free to work for themselves or for others as they choose. Yet most workers have little control over their lives as feudal serfs. Okay, interesting. Hmm. Neo-feudalism, what's this? Mm, mm. Oh, unequal rights and legal protections for common people and for nobility, dominance of societies by a small and powerful elite, a lack of social mobility, and relations of lordship and serfdom between the elite and the people, where the former are rich and the latter poor. So that's the new feudalism. Okay, yeah, that's kind of true. Yes. Yeah, interesting stuff. Um, I'll end it right here.